Angel Nagel, Ironclad CrossFit, Lesson 13, Managing Multiple Skill Levels. How does an astronaut get their baby to fall asleep? They rock it. All right. With that being said, the workout I chose today was 4-time, 20 burpees, 135 hang squat snatches, 20 reps, 20 bar muscle ups, 20 135 hang squat snatches again, and 20 burpees again. So the movement I chose to scale on this was the bar muscle up because I love a good bar muscle up. So I have my 3 athletes, beginner, intermediate, and RX, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So Huey is my beginner athlete coming in fresh off the press. My focus for them is going to be today is just to keep all the mechanics of it, everything nice and tight through the midline, working on the mechanics of that. So where I'm going to start the progressions at is probably a ring row, nice elevated ring row, still working on squeezing the core, squeezing the butt, all the fundamentals. Now from there, as we progress through, now all of my intermediate and RX athletes are all going to go through the same progressions, just jump off at different points of the train station. So the next one is maybe I'll have them walk their feet up a little bit and do a little bit harder ring row, still focusing on keeping everything nice and long, nice and in line. So as we move forward, we're going to go to maybe a banded or a box, depending on how far of the beginning stage that they are in, of a jumping pull-up. So maybe this is where they're at today, but as we move on into the intermediate, maybe we go back to the ring row. So from here as well, we're still going to work on keeping everything nice and long, everything nice and tight to avoid any lower back issues. Now Dewey, our intermediate athlete, he has a pull-up, okay? So after he goes through all these progressions, still focusing on everything nice and tight, I'm going to move him into a jumping bar muscle up on a box. So still keeping everything nice and tight, focusing on the push away and the dip and the pull. Now for him, I want him to really catch in the dip position and work on locking out as the support. So we'll start there with 2 feet on, and then as we move through, my beginner athlete is going to either stay with jumping pull-ups or we're going to go back to ring rows and work on seeing if we can continue to move the feet in and make them a little bit harder. So we're not going to leave them off to the side getting stagnant like muddy water. Now my intermediate athlete, as we progress through, eventually, now Louie, my RX athlete, has a bar muscle up. So when we progress into the actual bar muscle up, I want Dewey to work on a 1 foot on, 1 foot off jumping bar muscle up. Let's see how his mechanics stay with that. Once we get to the workout, he can always go back to 2 feet on, 2 foot off, but at least he knows the next step to get him between the 2 foot on and the actual bar muscle up. So Louie, he has a good bar muscle up, but he tends to lose all his mechanics. He gets a little loosey-goosey, he gets very wild, he forgets about the push away. So we're going to concentrate on the midline with him as well, really focusing on the dip and the lockout at the support, not just a straight push up. Okay, so if he cannot get the mechanics of the dip and the support position, we're going to scale back his number of reps, 20 maybe to 10, to work on the mechanics and the fundamentals of 10 good bar muscle ups instead of 20 really chicken wing, like on crack, kind of like my dance skills bar muscle ups. So we'll lower the reps here. The same with both of them. If we have to lower the reps, we can. But ultimately, we'll go for a beginner, jumping pull-up, ending with a ring row for the workout, jumping box, bar muscle-ups, into lowering the reps for my RX athlete to work on the fundamentals and the skills and keeping everything nice and tight for a pretty bar muscle-up in the end. So there we are. That's how we have it.